This is a tough one for me because when you look at Cam Newton, he's only 30 years old, but it's not Father Time. I just think it's the accumulation of injuries. You know, he reminds me, we were talking about yesterday about, you know, the late, great Steve McNair. And he kind of reminds me about the style of play, the way that he ran over people, the way that they used him as a lead runner. You know, you look at some of the hits that he's taking when he's trying to go in against Atlanta, and he gets almost knocked unconscious and keeps ticking. But the thing is, eventually you break down. And it just seems like his body's breaking down. When your body starts breaking down, your body tries to compensate, and it happens, and it just continues to happen. Last year it was the shoulder, and this year it's the foot. And I always get afraid when I think about a mobile quarterback with Liz Frank. You know, can he be a pocket quarterback? Last year, he got him off to a great start, 6-2. He got him off to 6-2, and then they lost 8 in a row after the shoulder.
And his numbers were better than the MVP year, up through 8 games.
Right. But see, the best ability in the league is availability, and everybody's replaceable. And really what the Panthers are going to have to decide is Kyle Allen a true franchise quarterback?
Yes.
Because if he is, then you go all in and you become, you know, you have a higher gun because now you have a cheap quarterback and you can go out and you can get, you know, extra special, you know, weapons on the outside. Cam Newton, he's only going to make $21 million. That's a bargain. He's right above Andy Dalton. So when you think about how much you have invested inside of your quarterback position, that's really not a lot of money. He ranks like 19th overall.
Yeah, see, for me, it's not whether or not Kyle Allen is a franchise quarterback. That part of it is not the biggest concern. The question is whether or not the Carolina Panthers are willing to extend Cam Newton beyond 2020 and knowing what a quarterback extension is going to cost with a guy like Cam Newton's resume, a former MVP, led the team to a Super Bowl back in 2015. I mean, you're probably talking about starting at $30 million on average annual value.
Right.
Is David Tepper and Marty Herney, are they willing to make that kind of commitment to Cam Newton, a quarterback that has dealt with shoulder injuries, not just this offseason, but the prior offseason, who's currently dealing with a Liz Frank injury that they thought that they could treat conservatively, let it heal up. It hasn't gotten better. He had to see Dr. Anderson. We don't know how they're going to approach it in terms of trying to get him right, whether they're going to give it more time, whether they're going to have to deal with a surgery in the offseason. But for a quarterback with Cam Newton's style of play, with the physical ailments that he's dealing with, I mean, Bart hit the nail on the head. Quarterbacks, players in general, don't become healthier as they get older. It's a lot of wear and tear on Cam Newton, and there are serious questions as to whether or not we've already seen the best of it.
Let me ask you a question. I just want to follow up, because why can't the Panthers do what seems like is option C, which is not extend him and not move on from him and just say, Cam, you're in the last year of your deal. You're going to play the last year of your deal out, and we're going to see if you can be healthy, because we all agree $21 million is a bargain for a quarterback in this league. If they cut Cam and go with Kyle Allen, just to get a veteran backup is going to cost you $6 or $7 million probably. So why is that to you? It's seemingly not a viable path.
Well, here, it's not a viable path, but just because we don't see quarterbacks, especially franchise quarterbacks, go into a year with no guaranteed money in future years. It just doesn't happen. Now, this could be the extenuating circumstance where the Carolina Panthers and Cam Newton both acknowledge the situation, but I don't know that to be the case. I don't know that one won't force the other's hand this offseason.
Can I ask you a question? Why not let Kyle Allen start, ride Christian McCaffrey, make this a really great defensive team with a great running game, and then you can do what you do, save all this money in that cap space, that $19 million, go out and build whatever you need to build, a strong line, whatever it is that can make Kyle Allen just sort of manage the game, because you have so many other pieces in place.
Yeah, because the reason you don't do that, because just managing the game won't get you a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
But
you're trying to win. Ultimately,
the Ravens a Super Bowl with Flacco.
No, Flacco
wasn't the game manager.
Yeah, he was a good Flacco that year. He went into a zone. He was a different type of player that year. You know, so what they're going to have to realize is what's Cam's value. What can we get for him if we trade him in the open market? Can he still bring back a number one? I think if you call up the team in Illinois and you call the Chicago Bears up, they might say we'll take and absorb $21 million because we feel like we're a team right on the cusp. If Kyle Allen, he's really auditioning for the rest of the year. If he's able to get this team into the playoffs, able to play well in the playoffs, I can't see how you take the job from him, not having certainty that Cam Newton could be healthy. And you have to commit to him for 3-4 years plus an extension, which it can be prorated, but it's still going to be a hefty number.
If you move on from Cam Newton, mark it down. The Carolina Panthers are going to be in the market for a quarterback for the first time since they acquired Cam Newton a decade ago. There's not a long list of successful quarterbacks with Kyle Allen's resume. And Kyle Allen, by the way, the only thing impressive on his resume from this season is the win-loss record. The completion percentage, the yards per attempt, the quarterback rating, touchdown-interception ratio are all in the 20s.
But what matters?
Okay,
what if he had great numbers and they were 1-5 over the last 6
I would believe in him, because I don't believe in the quarterback wins nonsense. I just don't. I know a lot of people do. I know a lot of people say this is the definition of a great quarterback. You guys mentioned Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco once won a playoff game. I think it might have even been a road playoff game where he completed 3 passes.
Was I on that team?
You might have been on that team. Like, there's this quarterback win stuff. We've got to do a better job of acknowledging that no great quarterback loses more than they win. We all understand that. But some bad quarterbacks win more than they lose. This is what got the Jacksonville Jaguars in trouble.
Yeah,
is the team was winning. The team, made a conference championship game. They're like, well, Blake took us to the conference championship game. Instead of recognizing that not only was the defense driving that bus, but Blake was in the back pulling it the other direction, preventing them from getting further. And so I'm not saying Kyle Allen's Blake Bortles. What I am saying is that if the Panthers move on from camp, they're not going to be in position to draft a quarterback in the top 10 this year.
No.
They will be drafting a quarterback in the first round the following year, because Kyle Allen ain't the answer. He's a nice stopgap for the time being, and he has proven something that a lot of people didn't think when he went undrafted and was cut twice his rookie season. He's a viable NFL backup quarterback. That's what he is.
Trevor Lawrence?
Well, they're not going to be able to draft Trevor Lawrence.
It's hard to make the case, what you've seen the last year or two, that Cam Newton is the future for the team right now until you can see him getting better. So you see that the quandary that they're in right now, not knowing which direction to go.
Well, here's the other side of that, Jenna. You could come back with Cam Newton in 2020, but there's no guarantee that he goes out there a couple of games and he's going to be healthy for the entire season. You could be on the hook for $21 million and Cam Newton play only 2 games like he did this season.
Yep.
That has to be a concern.
All right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.